There are little pleasures that I get in T20 cricket, and today's game definitely was one of them. The Paarl Royals took on the Pretoria Capitals at home, and I thought that it was worthwhile to talk about the conditions in Paarl and how difficult Paarl Royals will be to beat at Boland Park. So today's show is going to be exactly about that, because it's always good to talk about little strategies that you can find within T20 cricket. You know that I am obviously a long format cricket. I'm more of a long format cricket type of guy, but when a T20 match does present itself with some talking points, I think it's always very important to maybe talk about those type of things. And I think today's game between the Paarl Royals and the Pretoria Capitals has some talking points, particularly when it comes to the bowling. And we've had some information that has passed to us regarding the surface. So I'm going to cover that on today's show. I'm going to talk about what stood out to me about this particular game and why it is worthwhile to have a conversation about it. Um, there are certain players that I want to talk about, particularly that I'm excited to see play. And I want to see how they develop throughout this tournament. And I think it's very important that we do so on today's show. So before we get started, there's a couple of things I'd like you guys to please do. First and foremost, subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell for all future videos, please. It's very important that you do so. We also have launched we've also launched the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics magazine monthly, and every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every single month. It is the T20 edition, and I do think that it's important that we chat about that, and we find a way to talk about the SA20 in a way that prepares you, educates you, gives you insight into all of those type of things. So um, I do hope that we can have those type of conversations, and that the latest issue of the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics magazine does give you some lessons and gives you some insight into the tournament and all of those type of things, um, that it does do all of that. I just want to see something quickly. I'm trying to share something, but for some reason I just want that. I'm gonna allow that. Um, so I want you guys to also please make sure. I don't know why this is doing like this. I don't like it. Anyway, so also there's something that we have launched recently that I really want to talk to you guys about as well. We've found a way to help small businesses and medium enterprises in South Africa, in this crazy digital world that we live in, and in this advertising space that we live in. What has often happened to in advertising with regards to businesses is that the big corporates obviously rule. They've got the big budgets. The big companies have the big budgets to be able to advertise with the big companies. But then, what does the smaller guy do that doesn't have the budget to be able to do so? So we've come up with a solution for that. We've decided to launch something that can really help you guys out, and that is the Cricket Fanatics magazine Business Corner. And I want you guys to please go ahead and check that out. The link is on the screen right now. I'm putting it up on the screen for you guys to see. And it's in the description. You can sign up, have a conversation with us, and we can see how we can help you market your business effectively and affordably if you want to market to a cricket audience. So we are starting off by trying to help cricket businesses in South Africa that have suffered for so many years now after COVID, etc. And we want to try to give back and help you guys. We've built the platform, so the platform is there for you. So we want you to use our platform. And that's what we're going to be doing by launching this business corner. So click on the link on the screen as well as in the description for that. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. I am looking forward to discussing this with you. It's exactly what I predicted previously on the show. We spoke yesterday and we had a lot of conversations in the live chat about T20 cricket and the love for it. And it actually played out. Today's game played out exactly how I thought it would. So let's get straight into it. A very good evening and welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your SA20 Talk Daily Show, your SA20 Watch, where we try and speak about certain things in the SA20 matches to come that stands out to me personally, that I think that I can bring to you guys and have a conversation and talking point of. Normally it is when South Africans perform well, then we will do a show on the SA20 talking about those performances. And I think today it's about the bowling unit of the Paarl Royals when they play at Boland Park. I don't know if they're going to get the same type of performances or same type of conditions that will support their style of bowling. But in this particular match, on this particular wicket, when it was a little bit slower, they really showed what it takes to be able to thwart an opposition, throttle them, slow them down, and win a match for your team, especially when you have a low total on the board. So Paarl Royals, they batted first, and they only put on 160, but it was looking like they were going to put on a little bit less than that. They never got to the best of starts with Jason Roy and Jos Buttler, even though Jason Roy did bat at a good strike rate for his 23 of 16. Jos Buttler never really got going, really. And then Vian Libber hit 1-6, and then he also didn't get going. It was David Miller and Mitchell van Buren who held the middle overs together and were key in this particular match when it comes to the middle overs. And they performed quite well as a pair, put on a good partnership. But for me personally, there are good signs in what I saw for Mitchell van Buren. His approach and his mentality. But it was also good to see David Miller in form, even though he didn't get a 50. And I said yesterday on the show that sometimes in T20 cricket, you're not necessarily always going to get a guy that stands out. You're not going to necessarily get a 50 or half century. And those are type of things that we need to be aware of when it comes to T20 cricket. It's not always going to be a match like we saw yesterday where it's just like all action. So today's match we can appreciate for the skill and for the strategy and the implementation of tactics. But I have to give credit to someone that gets a lot of credit, that doesn't get a lot of credit usually, and that is Andile Pehlakwayo. Andile scored 28 of 14. He scored 4 fours and 1 6 at a strike rate of 200. And he's actually the main reason why they managed to get to that 160 mark. When David Miller lost his wicket, the team was at 137 for 6, and it was the 18th over. And it was looking like they weren't necessarily going to get past 150. But Andile came in and he started swinging, and he managed to edge a couple to the boundary too, got a few lucky ones, and played some decent shots as well to get 28 of 14. So he got the team to 160. And then there was something on the board to defend. But for me personally, from a bowling perspective, I think from both sides, there are some great things from a South African perspective that I saw. I think Darren de Pavilon bowled really well, 2 for 29. And Corbin Bosch, although he wasn't necessarily consistent with his line and lengths. He did get 2 wickets for 35. But I think Darren de Pavillon is a very good positive. With the Pretoria Capitals missing someone like Andrik Nokia, it's good to see a Darren de Pavillon have a go in this SA20. He hasn't really gotten many opportunities from an SAA perspective, emerging or any of those type of things. So it's good to see him in the mix here in the SA20 on a global stage and performing well. I think he bowled really well. He bowled quick, he bowled accurately and consistently. So he needs to get some props. But the all the plaudits need to go to the Paarl Royals bowling attack. They were absolutely excellent as a unit today. Apart from Phil Salt's 39 of 31 and Riley Rousseau's 29 of 18, Jeremy Neesham scored 21 of 18, but that was towards the end when he got a couple of boundaries. But the way Lungingiri bowled today, 1 for 23. The way Tabray Shamsi bowled today for his 1 for 22. And the way Andile Peklekwaya bowled today, until that final over, even though he got 2 for 29, that final over was a bit expensive. Up until that point, yeah, he went for 3 4s in a row. Up till that point, he had very good figures. So I think he had an all-around great game today, from a good game, a decent game for his team. I would say even possibly a man of the match performance for with the bat and with the ball, even though he didn't score crazy amount of runs, but he took them into that position to be able to save the game. But I think as a unit, the way this team bowled, even Vian Libber getting 1 for 6, this team with the bowlers that they have on this type of slower pitches and wickets can be very dangerous to play against. They very tricky customers. They don't give much away. They kind of stop strike rotation quite well, and they put pressure on the opposition very quickly. And Pretoria Capitals has a very good, very attacking batting, very good batting lineup. I mean, Phil Salt, Will Jacks, Tiernus de Bruin was really good last season. Ryder Rousseau, Colin Ackerman, Corbin Bosch is quite destructive. James Neesham is quite destructive. So even Ethan Bosch showed a good hand today, coming into bat. So I mean, they bat until 9, until 10. Sorry, Adil Rashid can bat a bit, and Senator Lutasami. So quite a deep batting lineup. But they had no answer for the Paarl Royals today, and I think that is something that we need to look at and admire. And sometimes I admire these small little things because they really give us, at me at least as a cricket lover, some satisfaction when you can see the strategies working. And I think the way David Miller captained the team as well, rotated his bowlers when he used his bowlers at the correct times. I think he was fantastic in the way that he rotated his bowlers. And even though Bjorn Fontaine went for quite a bit of runs in his first over, the way he came back was beautiful. But the fact that David Miller had the guts and the know-how to be able to bring on Lungingidi and Obed McCoy, they bowled really good lines and lengths and really made it difficult for Pretoria Capitals to get the ball out the circle. So overall, I think that there was good bowling on display today, and I think from South Africans. So I think that takes that makes it worthwhile to be able to talk about it on a show. So congratulations to all the South African bowlers today, the South African guys that bowled today. They really bowled excellently, and they deserve a lot of credit for the way they approach things, particularly the Paarl Royals and the way they approached their defense of 161 targets. So I also have to give credit to Mandla Mashimbi, because he's obviously the bowling coach at the Paarl Royals, and this is the second year running that he's found a way to make his bowlers so clinical. He's the bowling coach at the Paarl Royals, and he's doing a great job with this unit. He's making them very difficult to play against and to bat against, particularly at home. So I think that needs some highlighting today, and I thought that it would be worthwhile to talk about that. Let me get into the live chat and see what you guys have had to say so far. Tushar says, any say um, on Van Buren? I think you meant he was class today. Yeah, he was good today. A pity he couldn't kick on, but he was looking obviously to score. So I don't really mind when batters go out the way he did. He went out with a shot, trying to play a plan to play a shot, and trying to be attacking. At the point of that match, he needed to be. So I don't really dislike those type of wickets per se in T20 cricket. Sometimes you need to, at that stage of the match, it was 15.4 overs. He needed to really go for it, and I like what I've seen from him. I really do. I've always liked Mitchell van Buren and his approach to the game. Even in domestic cricket, I enjoy watching him play. Tushar's way, the Pavlin bowl was also impressive. Man can now be seriously option for white ball matches. Tushar says Pretoria should give Kyle a chance to play. It will be interesting to see if we will get a chance to play in his matches, because Kyle is the backup wicket keeper, and he'll probably play if Phil Salt doesn't play, and probably open the batting in T20 cricket as well. I think that would probably be his best position. I think in a T20 team, because I don't think he's necessarily a type of player that will come out in the middle and start hitting from ball one. Um, I think that he needs that power play to be able to really, if he wants to get attacking immediately with this type of strokes that he has in his arsenal. Lorenzo says Sen Mutasami was a genuine TFC today. Friendly banter. Um, Lorenzo says, Berland, seriously, I have to provide better batting wickets for T20s, though. T20s is all about entertainment, yet Borland always falls short when it comes to providing batting friendly wickets. They're going to prepare wickets that are going to give them the best chance to win. And with 3-4 spinners in your team, you're going to prepare a wicket like this. I wouldn't have expected anything else from them. And T20 cricket, there are going to be surfaces like this, and I think it's good, because I think some of our players will learn a lot from this, particularly the younger guys, on how to play on wickets like this. It really teaches you a hell of a lot, and it gives you a lot of it will give them a lot of experience, because it is kind of a lot of players struggle on wickets. A lot of batters, attacking batters, struggle on wickets like this, and I think it might be a good thing, because I mean every battle needs to be can be won and can be conquered, so they can find ways to to combat that. So I think there will be a way to do so. There will be ways in the future as the game progresses. More coaches will find ways to teach their players on how to get out of sticky wickets like this. Lawrence says the Pavlin, by the way, he was fantastic. Been doing this for a while at domestic level, lethal bouncer, and as a cracking Yorker. Chuffed for him. Think he did the Nokia role well today. Lawrence says the brace Shamsi, man, he's having a really good summer. A confident Shamo is a dangerous prospect. The brace Shamsi, when he's confident, I've always said it, he's very dangerous. Um, I would like to, it would be nice if you could add a little bit more oomph to his batting and get more success with his batting. I mean, okay, against that Pakistan game, he showed his hand. But if the Bray Shamsi could like be a player at the tail end that could add consistently 10, 13, 14, maybe 15 runs, he'd be a lot more valuable to the team. But his bowling alone gets him into the team, in my opinion. I think he's excellent with the ball when he's on form and he's confident. Even gave the Rashford celebration over there. Lorenzo said that's a time people sleeping on the Pavlon, but people just don't seem to rate him. For me, as international cricket potential. Back on Andile. been putting on consistent performances, batting performances for a while now. Just needs his bowling to click now. Bowled well today, but needed to see it consistently now. He bowled well today, but that last over was a bit of a tragic one, almost, and he picked up a second wicket there in the end. I think he had an all-round good game today. It was a good performance from him with bat and ball. Yeah, Andile is one of those type of all-rounders. He doesn't often have games where he's good with bat and ball. So this was one of those rare performances that I think needs some congratulations, and needs some praise, because normally he'll either perform with the bat or he'll either perform with the ball. And I think if he can do what he's done today consistently, he'll be a real good asset to any team that he plays for. We always thought that it would come with maturity, and at this stage, Andile is at the age of being a more senior, mature player. So I'm hoping that it will come now, and he can be a lot more consistent with these type of performance. Lorenzo says, I get the spinner spot, Harley, but India is a subcontinental country, yet when you go there for T20s, you get entertainment-friendly wickets. That's the way Borland should go. More sixes, attract crowds. I don't know how easy it will be for them to prepare those type of wickets in Borland. It is quite dry there. So you either make it tough to bat on or you make it easy to bat on. I don't think it's very easy to build. I don't know much about creating wickets and curating wickets, etc. I'm not a groundsman, but it does seem that you either get a batting wicket there or you get a bowling wicket there. You hardly ever get a wicket in between in Paarl. I don't know if that is because of the weather, etc., and the dry heat and the dry air, that it makes it difficult to produce like a balanced wicket. But majority of the games last season were either the high scoring or or like middle scoring games like this. You hardly ever find a game there where when it's equally balanced. So yeah, I guess for the tournament's sake, you would like to see all wickets be ones that are balanced, that will give you about 180 consistently on the wicket. I think between 170 and 180 is like a competitive T20 exciting match. So that is something that is interesting. But generally speaking, since last season, since MSL, I think as well, if you go to watch games in T20s in Paarl, generally 150, 160. If you're lucky, 170 is kind of the target, the score there that you normally would get. Chatil says the Pavilion should be going to the World Cup or the World T20. Let's see if we can put on these performances consistently in all different types of conditions. I would like to see how he bowls at Newlands, how he bowls in Kabeja, how he bowls in Pretoria, Joburg, etc. And let's see how he bowls around the grounds, and if he can keep up these performances consistently. Lawrence says, if you're 10 cricket in Paarl, don't expect a high scoring game. Conditions make it a 160 game. Yeah. Generally speaking, it's around about 150, 160 this wicket. When you're lucky, you get maybe 170, 180. I think in the afternoon games, you might get a little bit more runs than the day-night games. So we might be able to see that in an afternoon game. Chatil says Bolan Park gets slower than a Bangladesh wicket. Sure, it's very dry there, but maybe leave more grass there. Look at of pace in a wicket isn't entertaining. Lack of pace in a wicket isn't entertaining. And that is maybe the instructions that the groundsman got from the Paarl Royals team, that if you have spinners in your team, 3 spinners in your team, you're going to make it conducive for your medium, slower pace bowlers. Like, we know that Andile likes the slower deliveries, back of the length, slower deliveries. We know that Lungengiri likes to mix it up and bowl. He bowls you could almost say very heavy balls that really cramp you for space, bounce up at you, pitch up at you at an awkward length. and he likes to mix it up with slower bounces, slower balls. So if you have control over what the groundsman is going to prepare, you're going to give yourself the best chance to win. And if I if you want to give yourself an advantage as the Paarl Royals, that's exactly what you're going to do. You're going to prepare a 150, 160 wicket, because you know your bowlers are going to be able to defend that, most likely. Ayanda says, Andile flippin' Pechlaquayo. Yeah, he played really well today, I must say. Low scoring game isn't an issue as long as it's close and entertaining. This Paarl wicket lacks so much pace that it gets impossible to score after a certain point. Ayanda says, once Paul top starts firing, oh my God, we're gonna see fireworks. Yeah, if they top order can fire, like I mean, even someone like Vian Lubber, when he gets going, he can be destructive. So that top five is very, very, very good. And they still got some players in the on the bench too. Lana says, let's be honest, the Pretoria top order batters gave it all away. They were in the game. Could see Callis was pissed. Yeah, Callis was irritated. He's probably, I don't know if Callis is the type of guy that shouts or that raises his voice at players, etc. But he looked like he was on the brink of really losing it in the changing room. Do think that they could have batted much better than they did, even though the Paarl Royals did bowl really well. Chatil says this Paul wicket doesn't suit Paul batting lineup, who likes space on the ball though. If Capitals batted first, we'd be seeing the opposite result, possibly. Ayanda says, yep, Rousseau, Salt, and Ingram let it slip. I mean, Riley Rousseau is this type of player, though. We'll see him fire and then we'll see him not score runs. So this is just how Riley Rousseau is. He's going to go for it. And I don't mind that he's that type of player. I mean, you can take a risk with one of the players that are like that. So I was quite surprised though that he didn't just wait a little longer before he actually went for it. Um, he got caught out quite easily with a pull shot. Lawrence says, think we need to praise the captaincy of Miller, by the way. He was absolutely spot on with every call. Yeah, I did praise it a little bit earlier on in the show. I mentioned that Miller's captaincy needed to get some credit because the way he rotated his bowlers was excellent. The way when he brought his spinners on, the way he utilized Ngidi and Pechlaquayo in the middle, I think he was really good with his field placements as well. And his bowlers actually bowled to the field, which was excellent. And it does help a bit when you have a team that's full of captains. Jason Roy. I'm not sorry, Josh Butler. Vian Lubber is a captain for his franchise team. David Miller is the captain of this team. So you've got quite a few captains in this team that have quite a bit of experience. So that does help a lot, when it comes to that. And something that was interesting as well is that what makes it even more tricky. Fabian Allen didn't even bowl today. I know he bowled some slow left arm orthodox, and he didn't bowl today. And it could have been even more tricky for the opposition if he also got in the mix. So they could possibly play four spinners in this team. And Giddy was magnificent today, mixed up his length so well. He was brilliant. Berger says, who will captain SA20 now that Tiga has been removed? Your thoughts on how the Tiga saga has unfolded? Don't really want to get into politics on this particular channel. I don't personally think that politics and sports should mix. And unfortunately, in this case, it has. So I don't really want to get into politics on the channel. Berger, hopefully Ngidi plays like this for SA2. when Ngiri's fit and injury free and has no niggles, he's very dangerous. And I'm just hoping that he can stay fit for South Africa. What games are on tomorrow? Double header. So let me just tell you guys what's. Oh, oops! I pressed the wrong button. Um, come on. I don't know it out of my head, guys. So just bear with me quickly. I think it's Sunrisers Eastern Cape against JSK. No, sorry, JSK versus MI Cape Town at 1:30 in Johannesburg, and then Sunrisers Eastern Cape against Durban Super Giants in Gqeberha. That's going to be an interesting one because it depends on the weather conditions in Gqeberha. Um, sometimes it can be spinner friendly, and then you're taking a Durban team who's known to be good in those conditions. Um, and you're going to see 100 class in play. So let's see what happens in Gqeberha tomorrow at 5. That's the 5:30 game, and the 1:30 game is JSK versus my Cape Town. So that's going to be interesting doubleheader tomorrow. Ayanda says, really impressed by Mitch van Buren. All round game from first class to white ball. Yeah, he's a very, very good player. Always been a big fan of his. And I think that he has a hell of a lot of potential to play for South Africa one day. I do think that he has the capabilities and the mentality to do so. If he can just continue his consistency. Ayanda, JSK versus MI Cape Town, SEC versus DSG. Yeah, those are the games that are happening tomorrow. So yeah, guys, that is the SA20 watch for this evening. And I hope you guys enjoyed the show and I could give you guys some insight and into this particular match and just why I enjoyed it personally. Obviously, because of the tactical awareness of the captain David Miller today. I think the bowling performance, uh, showing how you can defend the total that is not necessarily very big. Dilek Bekwaya's performance and Gidi's performance, Darren de Pavlin's performance, Van Buren, David Miller, a lot of South Africans on show today, Tabare Shamsi, a lot of them performed well today. And we needed to highlight that. It's always great when you see the South African players in this tournament stand up and perform. So it was great to see. But thanks a lot for watching, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you guys again very soon with another show. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Peace out.